A hysterical man frantically burst into the inn, moving from person to person. He was either ignored or pushed to the floor, tears streaming down his face. He finally came to Arthur at your table. Crawlers have kidnapped my Lucy. No one survives for long. You must rescue her. Well, the heroes find themselves under Arthur's leadership and under his decision, as much as they were on the path to Farinrock, as they heard there's a siege going on. But Arthur found it important to currently, at every step as they lead their way there, to aid in anybody in need of help. And currently, it's rescue my daughter. Hence, you heard the father with his painful cry, and only Arthur and his newfound friends are willing to take the risk. So, this is the current setup. This is the 6 crawlers, and this is the legend that pretty much tells you how to set it up. So as you could see, the tile is 6x6, which is currently this. Now you could put a quest or a trap, and in this case there's a quest that we're working on. There's a lair, and there is one lair. There must be one lair, and up to 3 hunting packs, and right now there is one. And for the story purpose, it's the crawlers, okay, and hence it says here. And there's a lair, as you could see over there, and there's 4 treasures, the 4 treasures that you can possibly obtain. And there's the 8 gold, and the 8 gold is right here. Don't forget, Lucy has 5 lives, so you have 5 rounds to save her, pretty much, or obliterate everybody on your path. And don't forget that the lair has 5 vitality also, and 3 armor. Okay, so we're going to leave this quest here. So once we know that once we're upon her, that we have to do a non-combat action of a target 7 or greater, or else we just obliterate them. And the crawlers don't seem to want to wound her in some sense, but capture her for some purpose, so it seems, and they're going to attack us. Don't forget, there's 2 types of crawlers here, amazingly so. There is the melee type, which are, I believe, this 3 types, and this 3 in the back are actually shooters, and they're more dangerous than the ordinary type. So if forgotten, the crawlers have, if you're able to see, if it ever focuses, they have a movement of 4, as you could see right here. Their courage is 4, if ever questioned, and they're pushed. Their insects and their minions, and they're also considered intellect. If you look right here, once it refocuses, and intellect meaning they just go straight at you. So also they have an armor status of 4, their shells, so you're going to have to strike them with 4 or greater, and pretty much one hit will do them. But the thing you have to watch out is that their melee is obviously like any melee, you have to be adjacent, but they have also range, and their range, the fate die, if successful, they poison you. And that becomes a headache, all right? So that's, we'll put it right here, and that's who they are. And let's not forget, if ever wonder what poison does to you, poison is pretty much damage over time, and target receives 1 damage every refresh phase until the status is removed. So that is not good. Now, also to remember, as now the valiant heroes appear on board, and they're ready to rescue their amazing Lucy, who happened to get herself in trouble, or did she? We will never know. And here appears Lance right here, and none other than last but not least is Arthur the Valiant. All right, so now that we got this going on, we will courageously see what the heroes do. So now we have the setup ready, and Arthur directs them to pretty much rescue Lucy at all costs. So before anybody can do anything, Lily will, helpless hoping pretty much affect the whole tile, and this is an action. Each layer within range spawns two less minions. So if ever it comes to effect that the darkness comes upon, as the AP goes to 1, that the layer will spawn 2 minions less than that it would usually spawn. At the same time, she may look into her other skills, and she decides to hold back and let only this praise and music, helpless hoping to affect the layer before anything goes on, as she takes the first action as usual. Amnok will unleash his action, and the first time in a long time he brings his fateful rites, as he will increase the AP by 2 as he motions and he moves by 1 square, 1 tile right in front of Lance. And as he moves in front of Lance, 1, 2, 3, 4, it has a range of 4, and what he will do is pretty much strike this crawler and this one for the 1 faith, because this one is the target, and as it says, attack 1 target within range. The attack also affects a number of squares equal to your faith, and he has 1 faith, Amnok. So in this roll he will get +1 die 10 because he only moved half of his total movements. So this attack will affect this and this. If I had another faith, I could attack the layer, but at this point I cannot, because I don't have the extra faith or use anything that would increase my faith indirectly. And no, there isn't something that Amnok feels that he could increase his faith with. So in this case, what happens is he will set up his dice roll. So currently, because he's an amazing acolyte, sorry for the camera moving, because he's currently an amazing acolyte, he will obtain 1. Amnok will obtain 1 die 10. Because of his movement, he will also obtain another 1. And last but not least, he will also obtain 1 because of his worn prayer book, and 1 fate die that pretty much comes with his signature fate. So let's see. So you need a 4 or greater. In this case, well, he does strike. That was a 5, by the way. And he fails in his fate, so he doesn't lower the threat, but he does get 2 threat. He increases his threat level to 2 for this. The AP is currently at 3 because of all this, but he destroys these 2 crawlers, which is profoundly very, very good. He gets rid of a shooter. While Lance looks at that and is totally amazed by what Amnok has done, all right, and has pretty much done an action, so he cannot do any further actions this round, a hero cycle. Well, pretty much he's just amazed. But Lance, unlike others, starts with 6 skills, you know, because of the fact that he has inherited a title, let's not forget, and that title is the Rangers of Iron and Stones, if you remember, from Sadness, or Iron and Sadness, because of his escape. So let's see what he will do. So Lance decides to tumble along, and because he has always an ammo ready, he will move up to 3 squares and attack 1 target within range. And if that target is adjacent, this attack gains +1 damage. It's not considered a move, but it increases the AP by 1. And what's amazing about it, it's a reaction, not an action that he does. So in this case, so let's keep it here for now. In this case, he's going to come from here. He's going to move 1 and 2 and 3. And what he's going to take as a risk, he's going to shoot at this crawler, because those are shooters and they poison and they're more troublesome than anything, even though we should focus on the lair right now, but nobody can really bring down the lair. So we'll see how Arthur handles the lair, but for now Lance feels that's a priority to him, and get rid of that poisoned little crawler. So in this case, now that he decided to do that, he will take the 1 die because he's an amazing archer. he will take one fate die because of his archery fate, and more importantly, he's going to take because he has a stick and twine, and he's going to use that to pretty much shoot at that crawler. And at this point, he succeeds with the 7. The fate fails, and he eliminates this one. Alright, great effects. Alright, so his threat goes by 1 up. Alright, and that settles for that. But let's see if he feels there's something up his sleeve that he can do further in this case. So Arthur is feeling brave, and what he's going to prepare his skill of devastation. And what that is pretty much, you'll see soon as he takes his step 1 and then 2, and he brings himself right there. And as he brings himself in front of the layer, because this layer takes all 4 squares, it never fits in particularly one tile, as they say, so he takes all the 4 tiles right there. And in this case, he's right there, and he's ready to unleash the devastation. All right, but before he does unleash devastation, he will unleash his so amazing battle roar. And the battle roar, what he does, affects the whole tile. Each hero within range, -1 target to hit on attack with attack actions. So this is a reaction, and this attack action, by the way, will bring the AP to 6 and back to very soon back to 0. But before that happens, let's see how Arthur handles this attack against the lair. So he's going to go for 3 damage. It's an action, and because he did his full action, he gets 1 extra fate die, which has no purpose to this current amazing Arthur attack. But he will get 1 because he's an amazing soldier, and he will get another fate die because he's been fated to do that. And more importantly, he gets 2 more die 10s because of his Haldorian blade. Okay, and in this case, he will unleash his attack. Don't forget, so the lair, you require 3 or more to strike it, but because of the battle roar, kind of made it tremble and every creature around it, so it's -1 target to pretty much strike it, and it's going to be a 2 or greater. So let's see what happens, and there is no question about it, he pretty much struck it. So the lair will take 3 damage, so we will lower this by 3, so there's 2 more to go. So that is amazing, and there's 2 more damage that it requires. So now that he did that, he will obviously take 1 threat. Oh, sorry, he will take 3 threat for the 3 damage he did. Okay, and making him kind of the target of anything that comes along, and that's what he would want, to aid his allies in any sense. So now that the darkness will smother the heroes in darkness, and let's see what occurs. So the darkness cometh. If there are more than 6 minions, spawn a captain. Nope. Okay. So, and then they say threat penalty is irrelevant. Activation is minion and captain. So let's do that, and then after that is the normal spawn, and there's going to be a normal spawn, and we're going to see that in the minion card of what it means, but one thing at a time. So let the minions first activate, and let's see what happens. So this one is a melee, so what it's going to do is move 1, and that's all it cares, and it's going to try to strike Arthur, and it rolls. If you remember, it rolls. The fate die the fate die also for melee has poison possibility. So let's see. So in 9, it does successfully and does also poison. Wow, it's amazing, because you need 7 or greater to pretty much do anything. But let's see if Arthur has anything that he could counter or take away from this damage. And right now, let's see if anybody can aid Arthur in any sense. Okay, so what Amnok reacts to this, amazingly so, when he sees each successful attack targeting one target within range, which is the tile, by the way, is the range, okay, must be rerolled once. You gain 2 threat. Okay, so his threat goes to 4. Oh boy. And but sadly so, I have to mention something. He cannot do it because he has moved this round. So this does not work, and just a lesson, and it kind of fizzles and nothing happens in that sense. Sadly, no one can aid Arthur, but Arthur he loses 1 vitality, which makes him 7, but more importantly, he is now also poisoned, and that will give him damage 1 over time. So we will see how that happens, and that happens usually in the refresh phase. So that enemy moved, and now this one will come here, and it will try to shoot in range, and range is 3, and it will aim at Arthur at this case because he is the most threatening from them all, and currently at least. And let's see what he does in this sense, as this one also will target. And don't forget, 1 die 10, 1 fate die, and it strikes 1 target, and it needs 7 or greater. So let's see. So this one fizzles. It's a 1, and he dodges. And something very important. You can't be poisoned twice. Okay, so that's very, very important. This one turns to Lance and pretty much doesn't go anywhere and attacks Lance at this point. So let's see what happens. And this one is a 3 and pretty much rage, and nothing happens, and Lance survives that attack. So in this case, they did all their darkness. It goes back to the heroes, and currently the heroes cycle. And now that the heroes have pretty much have done what they have to do, they will go to the deck phase. And more importantly, don't forget the AP is currently at 0, and because nothing has occurred since, or they didn't do anything to counter the current attacks from the crawlers. Now that they're at deck phase, and pretty much the heroes, those that were able to have lowered their threat from whatever it was, because based on the fact that the least slots that they've used in action, they have lowered their threats to it. So if you understand what I'm trying to say, is basically the heroes have become less threatening because they have not taken much actions in the last turn. But before we proceed, we did forget, which doesn't affect anything in a bad sense yet, but a normal spawn at this point, the minion card. We look at the back of the minion card and what it says right there. So initial spawn and normal spawn. So a normal spawn will give you 2 melee crawlers and 2 range crawlers. But let's not forget that pretty much Lily had casted something to affect the layer, and if you don't see what I mean by that, here. Okay, the camera doesn't want to focus, and it always gives me problems. There you go. All right, so in seeing that, so Lily did lower the threat from the normal spawn. So in this case, instead of having 2 melee crawlers and 2 range crawlers, there are going to be 2 melee crawlers. And at this point, there's going to be 1 melee and 1 ranged. I'll put it like that. So in this case, right there. So this one is still looking at Lance, and this is what pretty much will spawn at this point, thanks to Lily, what she did last round. Okay, and if you're wondering what it was that she did that affected pretty much from this spawn to occur, properly, it was this. If you remember, she took an action, and this action says each layer within range spawns 2 less minions. All right. So now is the refresh phase, and in the refresh phase, what occurs, okay, now that this is done with, and what happens is, first things first, is the darkness meter goes up, and the darkness goes to 1 because of there's only one type of monster on the board, and the allies activate, and there's no allies to activate, okay, and as Lucy is just frozen in fear. And by the way, there's no treasures that are pretty much dropped because no one has slain 3 foes in one strike. Now, if I destroy the lair, a treasure would drop. And now the quest result. In quest result, what will happen is Lucy feels weakened and she has lost 1 vitality and she has 4 vitality. Status effects, well, status effect, we know that Arthur is poisoned, and Arthur has gone down from 7 vitality to 6 now from the poison, and until he's healed. And trap results and cleanup, and at this point we are back at the heroes, and they're now ready to take on their next heroic cycle. So Lily will unleash her musical feats, and first things first, she's going to be daring, and she's going to come right in front of everybody and all the crawlers, and she's going to start playing with her warp spoons. Yeah, warp spoons. The first thing she's going to do, because she did her full movement, it's a reaction. She will take effect on the darkness and reduce the darkness by 1. So instead of it being 1 AP, it's going to be 0 AP back again. And the next thing she's going to do is, it's a neutral one. It's just a reaction again. Each hero within range may reroll all failed dice during each action. So that's very, very good. Now, only action, don't forget. And the next thing is, in the last, it's another negative, and she can do it as a reaction or an action, and she's going to do it as a reaction. And it's full movement, she can do it, she's negative. Each enemy within range must pass a courage test in order to activate. That's why she did it. She's in range 2, so 1, 2, 1, 2. So pretty much those foes will have to pass a courage test to pretty much activate on their darkness cycle, if the darkness happens to come. All right, so that's all that she's going to do right now. None of it has caused any AP other than reducing the AP. Praise Lily. So Amnok, seeing what Lily did and brave as she is, he led the feet of the saints. He raises his faith as he affects the whole tile. Each hero within range reduces the AP cost of attack actions by 1. Only attack action. This is a reaction, and that's the first thing he does. The next thing he does is, not that he's that far away, but before he does anything, what he will do is grant all heroes -1 target number to courage test. Not that it will be valid and important, but the next thing is +1 die to hero attack action. Attack actions is bolded, so only for attack. It's another reaction, and he affects the whole tile again. And amazingly so, as an action, what he will do is, and he doesn't plan to move, he will use his faith, because this gives him another faith, and he'll restore vitality equal to twice your faith to 1 target within range. You gain 3 threat, and he doesn't care for that much, and he will increase the AP by 1. It's an action, okay, and it's not an attack action, so it doesn't lower the AP cost. And at this point, he did that so he can, and the range is 5, and what he did that was to just heal Arthur. Not that he was in dire need, and also Arthur has a potion, but he's going to bring Arthur back to 8 vitality. All right, so he didn't cure him, but he healed him. So now let's see what the others will do. Trish, being so silent and learning in the back, as she observes what's going on, she emboldens, and she takes 1 move forward. And as she does 1 move forward, more importantly, is she will unleash the sphere of deflection. Each enemy range attack targeting a hero within range has a target number increased by 2. This is a reaction, will increase the AP by 1, and it will bring it to 2 at this point. Then the next thing she will do, she will unleash the mountain crumblers. And she can do it because she only moved half her movement, and this she should do aggressively, and it's an action that will create another AP, but more importantly, it will affect 2 targets as she attacks. It's an attack earth focus. So let's see, attack 1 target within range. The attack affects 1 additional target adjacent to the initial target. Okay, so let's see what happens as she will unveil this mountainous attack. Now, something very, very important to note, like I did mention, that this attack has also the earth in bold. Like you see, if you could see that, it has the word earth. So this attack is earthly, and earthly is very, very important because it reduces the target numbers by 2 to strike it. Not that it's difficult already, but it makes it much more easier to target the foe. Now, she is an amazing apprentice, and in that case, she gets 1 die 10 and 1 fate die. And more importantly, because this is a focus attack, she's going to use her lucky cup. And her lucky cup gives her another die 10. Alright? And nothing else will increase her die roll. But don't forget, because of what Amnok has done, pretty much it reduces 1 of the action costs. Don't forget AP costs for any attack action. And this is an attack because you could see pretty much it uses the word reference attack right there. If you're gonna be able to see it, there you go. So an attack action. So this AP will go back down to 1. And more importantly, she also, because it is an attack, it also +1 to a die 10 to a hero attack actions. Okay, and it affects the whole tile, so she will get another die 10. All right, so that is something amazing, and let's see what she rolls. So not that she has an issue, 4, 4, and 8, and no fade die, but at this point she strikes both of these targets easily. Okay, and she will slay them easily, and her threat goes up by 2. All right, well done, well done. So, but nobody's kind of taking care of the lair right now, and the lair is much of an issue, but the lair has only 2 vitality, let's not forget. So it's not like it's a big issue right now concerning what's going on. So even though Lance is kind of surrounded and he can shoot from far, he will take a shot at the lair, and it damages 2 in the aspect of the mark. What it says is attack 1 target within range. This attack does not require ammo for each hero adjacent to your target. Reduce the target number required by 1. This is an attack. It's cost 2 AP. Instead, it's going to cost 1. So the AP will go to 2 now. And more importantly, let's see what die he is going to get. In this case, this already gives him 3 die 10. All right. This aspect of the mark. Then, because he's an amazing archer, he will get also 1 fate die. And then also, because thanks to Amnok, he will obtain another die 10. And I think also because of his amazing, stick and twine, he will also get another die 10. So at this point, let's see how successfully he's able to take care of that lair from that distance. And he obliterates that lair because you only need 1, and he needs pretty much a 2 to strike it, and pretty much he has no problems right here. This lair is destroyed thanks to Lance, and 1 treasure will drop right here. And in this case, that was amazing by Lance. Aside from that, now that that dropped and that destroyed, Lance will take 2 threat, because that's the total of the damage that he did, because every 1 damage you do, you get 1 threat. Okay, sorry, the camera's moving along. All right, so now things are not done. What will Arthur do? In this case, as it is still his turn, that he has not taken action, not to say that others cannot do current action too. Sadly, he cannot do anything, and luckily we didn't loiter. Loiter means we did not do any actions. We did quite a few actions this round, and sadly so there's not much he could do. So what he's going to do instead, he's going to move over the treasure chest and try to look into it, and he's going to take it. All right, and let's see what treasure he will obtain. And you pick up a common item. So let's see, and we return this back into the bag. So let's see this common item that we have obtained. We have obtained another major vitality potion. All right, so he has 2 at this case. I think he's well taken care of. All right, now it is pretty much that is done. Now the heroes, well, with the AP currently at 2, and everybody has done what they could possibly do, they will push for a deck phase at this point, because they are pretty much done with their skills that they currently have, and hopefully they will end the lives of the remaining crawlers and save Lucy. The deck phase is over, the threats have been removed in most cases, and more importantly, now is the refresh phase. And in the refresh phase, what occurs is first the darkness will go up by 1 from 2 to 3 because there's still 1 monster type on board. Okay, in this case, if we eliminate the enemy before we even rescue Lucy, she's by default rescued because pretty much we eliminated the lair, more importantly, and the villains or the monsters that are there, so Lucy doesn't feel threatened anymore. So let's move along. Allies activate, there's none. The quest result, well, Lucy just got wounded even more. She might be pissed by the time we see her, because pretty much we were not able to rescue her. This one is not anymore required. And the status effect, don't forget, Arthur is still poisoned, so he goes from 8 vitality to 7 vitality. And there's the trap results and the cleanup phase, which is nothing of to do. Now it's back to the heroes. Let's see what they can do. Lily the Scald is beyond dangerous. She has taken this skill when she pretty much during the Great Escape, when she escaped with Arthur and the others. And this, as you can see, is a novice skill, and because it's green flamed right here. Now this one is terrible at dawn. What it does is damage 1, range 1. It's a positive verse, it's an action with 2 AP. And now it targets X amount of foes. But she will do is very risky. She will come right here, and there's a reason for that. Because the range is only 1, and it deals 1 damage to a target to a number of adjacent targets based on your movement and within range. Range cannot be increased. We don't plan to. This is an action. It will target 3 targets, and actually it will end their miseries, because at this point the AP will go to 5, but there's 3 targets right here, which she eliminates in 1. Amazing little Scald. And now, without delay, Arthur will move and save Lucy and pretty much bring Lucy to her father. And the token goes here, and now it says if Lucy is on this card or successfully rescued, each hero draws 1 token from the loot, and if a white one is drawn, or a common is as it is, do not return it into the treasure bag. Okay, so that is something amazing. So let's see. Let's do that. There's 5 heroes, and 5 times we shall draw. Hopefully we get to eliminate some of the common items. So this is 1. Ooh, we eliminate 1 common item. 2. Ooh, I like this. And I'm not looking, if you're wondering. Oh. 4, oh my god. So we're pretty much going to get 4 common items so far, but... Oh, 1 finally. Okay, so 4 common items, and those 4, by the way, do not return to the bag, which makes the bag much better because it gives you higher the chances that you will be able to obtain the uncommon item. There is no rare. There's only, from the original setup, the way you set up the bag, there's only common and uncommon in the bag. And aside, there is X amount of rare tokens which we have not yet been able to put into the bag. So either ways, right now we have this 4 common items which have been pretty much eliminated from the board, and this green item we are going to pick up, which is a uncommon item. So it'll be kind of awkward now that they've completed, they're talking to Lucy, and this will return to the bag as I display to you what we have obtained as loot. Amazingly so. Let's fix the camera, and if I could get this into the bag, and I'll explain exactly what we have obtained and we're going to lose too in this confusion, as we talked early on between, earning titles allow you to keep items. Now, when we do story adventure quests or modules, like we did the Great Escape, we earned a title, and not only that, we did a story quest. We get to keep the serendipity and the gold that we had obtained from that quest. Sadly so, in this case, it is an adventure story quest that goes from one to the other, and in most cases, this quest, you don't have to do them, all in one slot, and like the modules where there are 3 acts, if you understand. So a module will have 3 acts like we did, Act 1, Act 2, and 3, allowing you to keep whatever items and everything that we have obtained. In this case, quests, you're not allowed to. And weirdly as it is, this is the items that we would have been able to keep, but I feel that we don't, because now we're busy coming back with Lucy and time has dissipated, and for some reason we happen to get rid of this armor. All right, and you know what, even Lance is looking at it, and I think he will leave the extra ammo because it just empowers him. Don't forget, he's the only one with the title, and he's the only one to really be able to keep this item, but he has this extra ammo, and this will give him more health, and also ignore 1 damage per darkness cycle. But I think damage output for my archer is more important, so these items just go back, and this puts an end. We rescued her, and pretty much let's see how we proceed as the adventure continues, as we learn to what happened to Lucy and where it pushes us as we go adventuring further into this chain quest. Thank you for watching, and please do subscribe. You return Lucy to her father. Lucy, still in shock from the ordeal, stares vacantly through her father's embrace and mutters the word Erebus. Trish takes notice of it, but says nothing.